All right, salute to all the Patreon members, all the subscribers, all the new viewers. I want to thank you guys for your support. Let's try this again. All right. You guys can do me a favor, check out the links in the description box below for the Patreon page. I just made 2 new videos. I can't really talk about the topics on here, but if you click the link to the Patreon page, I made 2 new topics that are very deep. Uh, so check those out. Check out the Facebook page and join other like-minded brothers that are traveling. They got their passports. They're sharing videos, articles, pictures, you name it. All right. So if you want to join a community of travelers, join the Facebook page. All right. So let's try this again. Megan Fox, Machine Gun Kelly break up weeks after pregnancy reveal. Now, I don't really care about the both of them. All right. I'm not into both of their lives like that. This is why I had to make this video again, because I put out some misinformation that I wasn't privy to in the previous live stream, but I have the information now. Okay. So, but the reason why I'm doing this video is because the both of them, man, like this goes to show you for the last year, I've been talking to you guys. I've been telling you guys this for like the last year and a little bit of last year, how modern women, as soon as they get what they want, which is, you know, a marriage, pregnancy, a baby, a lot of times they leave, right? A lot of times these women leave. Okay. Um, as soon as they get what they want, they leave. It's like the game is over for them. They're out. Mentally, they've tapped out. All right. I guess she wanted one more kid. She already has 3 kids by her previous husband, Brian Austin Green. Okay. Brian Austin Green was married to Megan Fox for 11 years. Right? They got 3 kids together. Now he dropped her, and now Brian Austin Green is with Shauna Burgess or Burgess. I don't know how to say her name. Okay. This woman is Australian. So he turned passport, bro, went and got his passport and went to Australia and got himself an Australian woman. And he's engaged to her. I don't know how long before they get married. She has 1 kid. All right. I've seen pictures of her. She has she has like the red hair look. And I used to date a woman who knew how to rock the red hair look. Like you can't have pale white skin with red fiery hair like that. Like you kind of have to have a little bit of a tan, not too dark, not too light, but just right to rock that red hair look. Not everybody could just rock that look, right? To where it almost looks natural, even though it isn't. It's a thin line between clown and beauty with that red hair look. Not everybody can rock that. But this woman already has 3 kids. So, Machine Gun Kelly, he has one kid, and they were together for about 3 or 4 years. They just announced that she's pregnant a few weeks ago. Then they went out of town on some trip during Thanksgiving holiday. It said that she found something on his phone and wanted him to leave the trip early. She didn't like it. So then he left early, right? And then they broke up. You only doing this really because you pregnant. All right. You got what you wanted. Now mentally you've tapped out. A lot of these women, they do that. All right. Soon as they find out they're pregnant, then it's kind of like, hey, you know what? I don't really need you. I already got 3 kids. I already got my caretakers over here. I got what I wanted out of you. I'm done with you. It's a new day and age, man. At one point in time, Caucasian single mothers, especially with multiple men, um, it was a negative stigma within that community. Times have changed now. Modern women of all races are turning a new leaf, right? They don't mind just being single. They don't really care how the world views them. I got what I wanted out of you. Now I'm gone. What does that say for you? What could have possibly been on his phone, right? Another woman texting you or whatever. Come on now. See, man, we don't go through women's phones like that. I mean, there's a lot of slick, greasy shit on women's phones that we, could only imagine. We just don't go through their phones like that, right? People that they're entertaining in the DMs, they still have Snapchat, right? They still entertaining an ex. They're still entertaining somebody that's thirsty for them that they never even met before, right? Responding to their messages every once in a while, but still in a relationship. Women do the same thing, if not worse, right? You think she hanging out with a homegirl, going to the gym, doing their little cycling classes, grabbing lunch, going to the beach together. You're not even knowing that, hey man, some of these women, that girl that she's hanging out with, she's just more than a friend. All right. Women do the same thing, but in this situation, it's not, I'm not trying to victim shame this woman right here, right? But I noticed like when there isn't a child and you go through ups and downs, a lot of times if women, depending on the man that they're dealing with, they're willing to go through those ups and downs. Like it's to be expected. But when there's a pregnancy, that's all of a sudden when they let everything go. That's when it's like, you know what, I'm cutting you all the way the hell off. It's like they're looking for something. It's like the next time he does something, no matter how minute it is, I'm willing to cut this person off and be single for the rest of my life. Man, a lot of these women, you could be emotionally invested into them. You could be financially invested into them. It don't matter. Family isn't really on their minds like that. I'm pretty sure that this Brian Austin Green, who she was married to, I'm pretty sure he was pushing marriage on her. I don't really know this woman like that. She might be a nice person, but uh I think to him, especially after seeing Transformers, it was almost like this is a trophy wife to him. Like, man, I just eloped with Megan Fox, right? A lot of the white guys at the time, she was like the new hot thing when that Transformer movie came out. And in his mind, it's like, man, I got Megan Fox. I don't know her personality, but I'm pretty sure he was the one that pushed marriage on her, not the other way around. And it's like a lot of women, they just kind of go through with it, like, oh, okay. All right. Even though 11 years is quite a long time for somebody like her. You would think from the outside looking in that she wouldn't even be able to last 11 years with a guy. You would think she just hopped from guy to guy to guy to guy, right? I don't even know what kind of person he was. He might have been a shithead. I don't know. But when you are the one that's pushing family, marriage, man, some of these women, they just kind of go along to get along. Right. Oh, okay. I guess that's what he wants. All right. I really want my caretakers. Women, they have children for the most selfish things. It's not to build a family, it's to have kids because they think that life isn't fulfilled if they don't have kids. They just have kids just to be having kids. And then it's kind of like, okay, these are my caretakers right here. I'm with this guy. He wants a kid and he wants marriage. All right, whatever. right? It's not really that mutual like you think it is. Why are so many people when they have kids shortly after there's a breakup or there's a divorce, right? When a lot of men see this, they run for the hills. Her ex-husband, whatever happened, this man got him an Australian woman. So where do you go from here, man? A lot of guys who are looking from the outside in, you know, this leaves women to deal with men that don't even really want to take things to the next level with them. And then they become frustrated. And then once they become frustrated, it's like then they start pressuring a guy. And then once that don't work, then they make a move. And the move comes off as disrespect to a man. All right. There's a guy that I know, he's from Harlem, New York. All right. He was with a woman for about 12 years, over a decade, and 30 was on the horizon. And so she kept talking about marriage, kids, but he didn't want that. It's kind of like I see the game early. It's just, and there's nothing wrong for her wanting kids and marriage, but if that's what you wanted, you need to enter into the relationship with that and learn to cut somebody off and be serious about it. See, when you've given up your youth and been with somebody for over a decade, you let time go on that long, and then now you want kids and marriage with somebody because 30 is on the horizon. It's like I've already gotten what I wanted out of you without the risk of kids and marriage. So why are we going to do this now? Why are you pushing for this now? See, you pushing for it. Is it because you want to build a family, or is it because it's out of desperation because 30's on the horizon and geriatric pregnancy is 35? Now it's like, I'm not going to have any caretakers. I'm not going to have any free caretakers if you don't give me a baby, because in their minds they don't want to put their trust in the hands of another man, right? They're not going to have enough money to retire on when they get older. So it's like they want kids now, and when they want kids so that when the kids get older, they could guilt trip them into taking care of them. And you don't know what the future, what the culture is going to be in the future 20, 30 years when you have kids. You don't know what it's going to be. So what happened was he wasn't giving her a baby, wasn't trying to propose to her. So this chick was like, I don't know. It was something weird about the apartment. I guess both of their names was on the lease. So if both of their names was on the lease, she was like, okay, it's my crib too. Right. So then she moved the guy in. He's like, what the fuck? Moved the guy in because, he was running weak game on her, saying, man, I want kids, I want marriage. And I think what happened was something happened. I'm not sure. I think she caught an STD or something happened, but things didn't work out between the new guy that she was dealing with, who was running like old, weak game, like, oh, I want kids and marriage. But really, he was messing around with her and messing around with other women. And then I think she contracted an STD, right? And that really hurt him. But the thing is, I understand where both parties were coming from, but to a certain degree, it was her fault because you let time go on that long. See, if you were serious about marriage, kids, and building up a family, you would have pushed that. You want to let a year go by without a proposal. And it's like, hey, look, I'm dead serious about this. I'm family orientated. I need a, marriage. I'm not trying to do this whole single living together, shacking up with each other if we're not building. If you don't want to build with me, you gotta, you know, draw the line in the sand after about a year, right? After a year, then you see, okay, where are we going? You let 10, 12 years go by. a man is looking at you like, no, you're not serious. You just want some caretakers. That's it. All right. Because at any age, I can start a family when I want and you can't. My brother right now, he's been with his girl for 11 years and no kids, no marriage, has no plans on doing any of that stuff with her. And you know, I don't wish anything negative upon both of them because I met his girl. She was nice to me, right? But I can only imagine the fear a lot of men have when you've been with a woman for years and then the moment she gets pregnant, it's like then everything pisses her off. Now she's vocal, rude, disrespectful, violent when flying off the handle over little stuff. And now you left. See, now this guy right here, he got 2 kids. Well, he got one on the way. So you about to have 2 kids. And I think his oldest, his first child, I think she's grown now because he had her at a very young age. Men, we want to build with a woman, right? We hope to at least you stay around when the kids have graduated high school. I can respect a woman if she stays around long enough until the kids graduate high school, and then you go ahead and do whatever it is that you want to do. Because by that time, I'm probably tired of you anyways. But man, these women, they leave. I mean, it ain't even a second trimester, and you leaving. Right? Because you saw something on his phone. What was it? But it might have been, an ongoing issue. But if it was an ongoing issue, man, you don't get to the point where you get pregnant by somebody if it's been an ongoing issue. Right? I understand that, you all about your respect and shit like that, but hey man, um, y'all gotta know when to, you know, y'all gotta know when to have, dick discipline, pause. Um, if if you getting tired of the way a woman is acting, look wise, and he's like, okay, I don't really want to break up with her because she still want to have sex with me. I'm gonna look for the next woman to mess around with or whatever while I'm still dealing with her. And then once I'm locked in with her, I'll just leave her and then get with her. You emotionally go from one girl to the next because if you cut a woman off cold turkey, then you start thinking about her, thinking about all the good times. You start second guessing if you made the right decision, knowing you did. So some guys, they emotionally hop from one woman to the next. It's almost like a job. They don't want to leave until they've secured another job there. They don't want to leave unless they've secured another woman while they with this woman. I'm just assuming and speculating right now. I don't know what happened, but just in general, who can you trust, right? Both parties are moving out of fear. And when you move out of fear, you do things out of fear. You have sex out of fear, right? You go on dates out of fear. You say things to each other out of fear. You have vulnerable moments with each other, but then you do it out of fear, right? You have sex with women, and you know, I can't tell you how many times I've had sex with women, and you hit that spot, and they make a sound, but then they're embarrassed because they made that sound. And they trying to hold back from making any noises, even though you working it. And that's a very masculine trait, right? two parties with each other holding back from each other, moving out of fear. And here you have it. I'll never forget Missy Elliott. She had a lyric in the song. She said, "I break up with him before he dumps me." Actually, it was "I Can't Stay in the Rain." That's what she said it. I break up with him before he dumps me. She said that 30 years ago. And for whatever reason, that line always stuck in my head, right? Women, it's kind of like, man, I'm gonna get him before he gets me. And it's like, man, I'm not even thinking about that, I'm trying to work on things, but it's like a game, and it's a game that you're not built for. But at the end, when you as a man, when you take things to that level, right, especially of marriage and kids, you're gonna take a huge loss, right? You got 3 kids. When you look at this, her ex-husband, I don't know what happened, but I'm just saying in general, because 75% of the filings, the divorces are initiated by women. And I think 80% of those is it's like no fault divorce. Is irreconcilable differences. So basically, yeah, I don't really like him no more. And it's without any reconciliation, it can't be solved or whatever. So a lot of women are leaving. Now, a guy like him, you stuck with a woman, whether you like it or not. You got 3 kids with her, right? You got to pick up these kids. You got enough money to send somebody over to get those kids, but it's like you got to hear about her, right? You can't really get over no woman. It probably takes longer. I could imagine. I don't have any kids. It probably takes longer to get over a woman that you got kids with, knowing it's like, hey, man, I got a duty to take care of my kids, man. I got to pick her up. I got to see this new guy. It's her house, so she can move in whoever she wants. I can't just run to the courts and say, hey, I don't want this guy around them. It is what it is, right? Your girl left you. Now she moves some new guy in that's hitting it froggy style, and your kids in the next room. It's like that. I mean, it messes with your heart and it messes with your ego, right? You can't just fully get over some. You used to taking a couple weeks, a month or two, you know, for you to get over a woman. Now it's like it might take you years, right? You might move on, but it's still kind of mess with you. Like, man, I had all these times with this woman, and she just left because she not quote unquote happy or whatever. And it's like it was right when she had the kids that she wanted to leave. That messes around with you. And you still, so a lot of guys, they're moving on fear. Women are moving on fear because of what social media is telling them. They in between a rock and a hard place. Pause. Uh, it's it's a situation like these, man. It makes like who can you look at and say, hey, man, you know, they doing it right. I have hope, right? Everybody I've ever personally knew that got married, they all divorced. Um, some people, the last time I checked, they were still married, but that was years ago. People I went to school with, that was years ago. Right. I don't know how they're doing now. I don't really follow them like that. I deleted my Facebook, my main Facebook. I deleted that years ago. Right. Um, but people who was in my immediate circle that were married, man, they all divorced. And I'm thinking, like, damn, those two are like they were solid. What happened? They were rock solid. Like, I didn't think that would happen. Right. I don't try to live vicariously through no entertainer, no celebrity or whatever. The only people we can point at is like our grandparents. Some of our grandparents didn't even make it. On my dad's side of the family, man, like My grandmother, she died alone in the projects, right? When she passed, I went to where she lived at to help like clean out some of the stuff that was there. I mean, it was beyond dirty. The elevator, it just had like a pool full of piss just swishing around on on the elevator flow, graffiti all on the walls in the elevator in the hallway. You go inside, it's like roaches everywhere. And I'm like, man, and my grandmother, like she was born in the early, like I'm talking about 19 teens, like 1914, 1915, right? And it's like, you know, who wants to go out like that? You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even point to them and say, hey, they doing it. I could only point to my mom's parents and my immediate parents. But some people, they don't even have grandparents or family members to point at and say, hey, they doing it. They've been solid this whole time. They raised their kids together and they still together. A lot of people don't have good examples nowadays. So a lot of people they moving out of fear. Dating, meetups, they're real janky now, right? Coming from both sides. Men are booking passports. It ain't even a hookup. It ain't even dating no more. It's just hooking up. Is we having sex or not? These women, are you paying or not? All over the place. The dating game is all over the place. Marriage, kids, man, forget about it. If you want to have a kid, you kind of just like you might as well just meet somebody and say, "Hey, let's have a verbal agreement." All right. I know you're not going to stay around to the end with me. I know you're not going to help me raise this kid in a two-parent household. Let's just, have sex. If get you pregnant. If you still kind of like me till the end, then we could, still keep fucking. Once you tired of me, all right, it was fun. And, you know, this is the payment plan. I'll set out to pay you. And I might increase it by this percentage due to inflation, every year or every couple of years. Guys just like kind of, you basically, when you meet somebody that you plan on having kids with, you just need to go ahead and set up a payment plan right when y'all meet each other. Have a deal set in place. All right. So I'm gonna end this right here. You guys take care. I might come back with another live stream in a couple of hours. Take care. Peace. Be safe out there.